Guys, it's Colleen, and today's the first day I've had coffee in over a week. Mm. Okay, so today we're gonna tier rank all the Nancy Drew games. Well, games 1 through 33. 34 just came out and I have not played it yet. But games 1 through 33, we're just gonna go through them, give a brief description, my opinions of them, and rank them and see how it comes out. There will be no culprit spoilers in this. Okay, and in no particular order, we're gonna start with Secret of the Scarlet Hand. Secret of the Scarlet Hand. You are working for a museum about Mayan civilization, and an artifact is stolen. This game, though, I believe is a bit chore heavy, and you have to complete a number of chores before the mystery is even triggered, before the robbery happens. So, and it can take 30, 40, 50 minutes, especially the first time playing it. It takes you a while to get through it. And I'm not a fan of the heavy chores in this. It is interesting learning about Mayan civilization. The characters in this are just, there's like one character that I think is like, okay, the other ones are pretty forgettable. I'm going to say that this game is just okay. Next one, Nancy Drew's Secrets Can Kill, the original. Now, they no longer have this one for sale. They did remaster it. The original one, I don't even really count as part of the series because it's so different. The plot, however, is the same in the original and the remastered. A young boy in high school gets pushed down the stairs and killed. And when you go around talking to people, you find out a lot of people wanted him dead. He was blackmailing almost everybody. And he was just like a sleazeball. So that is a very exciting plot. However, characters, culprit reveal and puzzles in the original are absolute trash. It's just like, I won't say anything more about the culprit reveal, but this is the only one that has such a weird culprit reveal that is not cohesive with the rest of the series, which is one of the reasons I'm assuming that they remastered it. And with the puzzles, it was mainly just like word scrambles all around, and it gave no reason why they were there. It wasn't connected in any way. So no, this one, problems. Next one is the remastered one. The remastered one, they upped the graphics, and they, even though there still were a bunch of word scrambles, they at least gave a reason as to why that was. They did add a character in as well. And they did add an interesting puzzle, a very interesting puzzle in it that was not in the original one. This one, though, I'm just going to say is okay. Next one is Nancy Drew, Creature of Kapu Cave. Nancy Drew goes to Hawaii to help an entomologist. However, when she gets there, there is like weird things going on with the crops and the bugs around the area, and also the entomologist's camp is trashed. Somebody came and ransacked it. This one, the characters are okay. Characters are okay. Not an exciting plot. My main problem with this one, however, is that that usually throughout the games you pick up hints and clues as to what the motive might be. And this one, there's literally no clues as to the motive about what's going on. And then when you get to the very end of the culprit reveal, it's just a huge info dump about what they were doing, why they were doing it, when that should have been given out as little clues throughout the game. That's my biggest problem with it. The Frass puzzle is a pain. This one though, like there's still some okay things about it. It's not problematic like the original one, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in okay. Next one, Phantom of Venice. Nancy Drew is invited to go to Italy because there is an art thief on the loose, and he literally dresses up in a mask and cape while stealing all this shit, you know? Mm. And even though I'm not fond of the characters, um, I still really like the puzzles. There's a cut scene where you're like up close to the Phantom. That's fun. There's a little puzzle about where you need to learn a few basic Italian words for a stakeout. That's really fun. Stealing the diamond's fun. Playing Scopa is really fun. My partner and I now play Scopa. We'll just bring a deck of cards to a restaurant with us and play it all the time. This one, I am going to say, like, the characters really. Oh, and this is weird because this is the only one where there's kind of a risque thing where Nancy Drew dresses up in like a skin tight leather cat suit and dances at nightclubs for money. Um, this game is supposed to be rated E for everyone, so that was quite surprising. Um, Overall, I'm gonna say this is great. I want to say it's a great one. Yeah. Next one, Trail of the Twister. This one, I'm not fond of the plot. Nancy Drew goes to help a storm chasing team because their equipment keeps breaking down and it seems like sabotage. So she needs to find out why somebody would be sabotaging their equipment. Um, the characters in this, I'm not fond of either. I like Scott a lot. He's just like a depressed older man who used to have such passion for his job but lost steam along the way. Like and I like Paul a lot too. Other characters, but the puzzles in this, the puzzles are really great in this, and the puzzles really save it. And I'm gonna put it up in good. Even the mice puzzles, a lot of people say it's repetitive. I don't mind it at all, honestly. Next one, Treasure in a Royal Tower. This is game number 4 where the series starts really shaping into what it's going to become, you know? Um, Game number 4, Treasure in a Royal Tower. Nancy Drew goes to Wisconsin on a ski vacation, but gets snowed in. In this castle, they have a tower that came all the way from France, from Marie Antoinette's castle. Like they unbricked it all and bricked it back up after sending it to Wisconsin. I think the owner was just that rich or something. I don't know. But the tower sealed off. But there is rumors of a treasure and you have to find your way into this locked up tower, try and find the treasure, but it's also got really like the plot. I like the plot. There's a lot of treasure hunting plots in Nancy Drew. I'll tell you that right now. Plot, that's the plot. Characters. Two of the characters are very forgettable in my opinion, but two of them are awesome. Obviously, Hotchkiss. She is a fan favorite throughout the whole series. She pops up again throughout the series as phone contacts, or you'll see her names on books that she's written, you know. She's great. Egan, Dexter Egan. He's good too. He's a crotchety old man, but like you slowly learn about his tragic past story with his adoptive father. And that game is just that one's the puzzles aren't hard. There's a little bit of chores. I'm gonna say that this one is great. Yeah, I'm gonna say that one's great. Um, Next one, Warnings at Waverly Academy. This one I love. Nancy Drew is sent undercover at a boarding school because all these like bitchy ass girls are getting threatening notes by somebody who calls themselves the Black Cat. And after they get a second threat note, that's when something really bad happens to them. One of them was poisoned. Another one who was known for having claustrophobia was locked in a closet all night and was traumatized. So both of those girls went home, and you have to figure out who is threatening and hurting these girls and why. You learn a little bit about Edgar Allan Poe in it. And I think it's so funny though, because this is the one where it's teenage girls and they're just being so fucking bitchy. They're causing rumors, stealing boyfriends. insane. And then there's one huge plot twist that isn't part of the culprit reveal. One huge plot twist that like I did not expect in the first time I played this, you know. And I was like, that's insane. And it also has one of two of my favorite deaths throughout the series. This one is good. There is one puzzle I think is very difficult. The other puzzles are doable. They're good. They're good. This one's going up in my favorites. Okay. Secret of the Old Clock. This is the only Nancy Drew game that takes place out of time. It's 1930. And they did this because, like, to commemorate the first Nancy Drew book that came out in 1930. I believe they combined the first two Nancy Drew books into this game. So there's kind of two mysteries going on here. Um, you go see a friend of a friend to help her cope because she just lost her mother and she's acting a bit erratic. And at the same time as this, her neighbor had passed away not long ago as well, had promised her a whole bunch of money, but when they found the will, he didn't leave her anything. So it's like, is that really the will? You need to figure out if that's really the will. And if it's not, find the real will. You need to figure out if she's actually going crazy after losing her mother or if somebody is gaslighting her and why. This one, it is an easy one, I would say. I would say it's an easy one, but it's fun. And the music is awesome, very jazzy. This one is going up in good. I'll put it in good. Um, Next one. Ooh, Curse of Blackmore Manor. This one is a very interesting plot. Again, like a friend of a friend wants you to go check on this woman who's starting to act very erratic. And then when you get there, you find out that this woman genuinely believes that she has been cursed and is turning into a werewolf. Um, Now in the Nancy Drew games, it's kind of like Scooby Doo. They might make it seem like there's something supernatural going on, but there's always an explanation. Now, she does have physical symptoms that make her think that she's turning into a werewolf. But later on, you find out what actually is going on. Um, this one also has a hidden treasure, and this one has many puzzles. And I believe this is the first Nancy Drew game where one of the suspects is a small child. They do have some children in these games, but not a lot. But this one just has a lot of puzzles, and they're really good and really fun. And this also has the second death of the one that my top two deaths, you know, favorite deaths. This one is going up in my favorites. Next one, Danger by Design. So Nancy Drew is sent to Paris because there is a fashion designer who started wearing a mask and acting very erratic and getting way behind schedule for her fall line. And like just nobody knows why she suddenly changed her behavior, you know? And it's affecting her work a lot. So you go to investigate that. This one, I the puzzles are okay. I like some of the puzzles. I like the puzzles. Characters, forgettable, except for the fashion designer herself, Manette. All the other characters, I would say, is forgettable. Um, I think the only thing it's really got going for it is the puzzles. I'm gonna put this at okay. Yeah, I'm gonna put that at okay. Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. This is a fan favorite. It is about Nancy Drew is invited on this haunted train, supposedly haunted train. It used to belong to somebody named Jake Hurley. Jake Hurley left the train, and he and his wife lived in the train. Um, but she passed away, and he thinks that she is haunting the train. And then he supposedly found a hidden mine or somewhere. He supposedly found treasure. And before he passed away, he wrote a letter telling like his great niece or something. You're my last living relative. To find my treasure, start off with the hints that I left on my train. And so Nancy, oh, and at the very beginning, the person who invites her on the train is kidnapped. So yeah, it's another treasure hunting one. And then intertwined with an old Western romance thing. I really like the puzzles in it. I really like the atmosphere. It is the first one that has the Hardy Boys in it as well. This one is going up in favorites. Next one. Legend of the Crystal Skull. Ooh, it's a good one too. Nancy Drew goes to New Orleans. Again, it's somebody she doesn't even know. It's a friend of a friend of a friend's to check on him because his last living relative passed away. So she goes there to check on him, but when she gets to the house, no one's inside, and the door, when she knocks, just kind of opens, and she's like, "Hello, hello, hello," and just walks right in. But she finds somebody in like a skeleton man costume inside and startles him. And he's like, poof, and throws powder in her face and she's knocked out. And when she wakes up, the man who she went to check on and the housemaid woman are there, and they were, everyone's confused or whatever, and she's like, no, I'm staying here. I need to figure out why somebody did that. What were they looking for in your house? What's going on with that? That's weird. Um, yes, and that one I like a lot because it also talks about crystal skulls that may have mystical powers. And also, the man who died was very eccentric. He had many, many different glass eyes. Some of them look normal human, some of them like cat eyes, some of them have like a big caution symbol on it. I'm just imagining this really old man just popping in weird eyeballs every other day. And he also has like a bunch of exotic pets that he's trained. An alligator, a spider, also an iguana. And like he trains them in weird ways. Like the iguana, you can dress up in little play outfits, and he does different things depending on what outfit you put on him. The spider, if you play the spider a particular song, it'll give you something. And it's just like, it's weird things like that. And also, the man who passed away did miniature architectures, which is super cool, super cool. And it's in New Orleans, and it's like raining and dark all the time, but beautiful. And I really, really like it. Trying to figure out who the skeleton man is, it's really fun. And I would say the puzzles are very, very good. I love it. That one is also going in my favorites. Okay, next one. Dossier game. I believe there are two Dossier Nancy Drew games. I haven't played either. They are not considered part of the series. They're more like hidden object games, I believe. They're not like they're not part of the series. Next game. Haunted Mansion. Message in a Haunted Mansion is actually my first Nancy Drew game that I ever played when I was like 7, 8 years old, somewhere around there. I was under 10. Um, there's a woman who's trying to open up a bed and breakfast in San Francisco, but the renovations like keep fucking up. Like and she's bringing her out to see if somebody's sabotaging the renovations for some reason. She thinks it might be sabotage. Somebody else there thinks it's just unlucky accidents. Another person thinks it's haunted by a ghost, and you're just trying to get to the bottom of it. Um, that one is fun. It is very easy. The Chinese puzzle poem thing. That one is my favorite puzzle in there. The otherwise, like the characters are okay. I probably just like it a lot more because it's nostalgic for me, but if I'm really trying to think about it, I probably would just say it's just okay. Like it's okay. It's the third in the series. Shattered Medallion. Well, with Shattered Medallion, it's weird because whatever mystery you're trying to solve is kind of like ambiguous. You don't even know the majority of the game that you're trying to solve a mystery. I don't know. It's really weird. Nancy Drew is on a reality TV show, like kind of like Survivor, and most of the puzzles come from the challenges for the reality TV show. That's what most of the puzzles are for. The only thing that Nancy Drew really notices that's kind of weird is that Sunny June, who you hear a lot of throughout the series, you see him for the first time in this game. Um, Sunny June has basically taken over the show and he's doing something weird, but you don't know what. You just know something weird is going on, but you don't really know what. And you just keep doing the challenges for the TV reality show. So I would say not a good plot, unremarkable characters. No, I think there's a problem with that one. Uh, Nancy Drew, Alibi and Ashes. This one, I fucking love that Nancy gets her ass thrown in jail. She has deserved it many times over and over, although this time she didn't. This time she was framed. It's the only one in her hometown. She's framed for arson. Um, her friends, you can call up her friends, and her friends will run around town trying to help collect evidence so that she can break free of jail and then try and find out who actually started the fire and why they would want to frame her. This one, I do like all the characters, especially Alexi, who was also a kid detective. Um, I like the characters. I like the plot. I like the puzzles too. I'm going to put that one as great, actually. I'm going to put that one as great. Next one, Danger on Deception Island. This one is a good one. This Nancy goes to Snake Horse Harbor to go on a whale watching tour. Again, it's like a friend of a friend who has connections and is like, take my friend's whale watching tour. She's like, sure, why not? You know, but when she goes there, the woman's boat has been ransacked. You know, some of the parts are broken, others are missing. Um, yeah, and there's also an orca whale that's getting way too close to people. So, and that ties in with the mystery as well. So it doesn't sound like an exciting mystery, but I do think it's an exciting game. I think this is a great beginner's game too. I think that's a really good game to start off with beginners. The characters, uh, Holt Scotto, I believe, is a really cool character. And you know what? The ending, though, I loved the ending. It has a great ending. So much. I'm going to put this one as good. I'm going to put that one as good. Next one, Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. Okay, Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. Nancy Drew goes out to a cabin to help her friend do renovations on the new cabin in the woods she bought. However, when she gets there, she realizes that her friend Sally isn't there at all. And Sally ends up calling her and was like, I'm so sorry, Nancy. I just couldn't spend another night there because the ghost dogs were growling and snarling. And she's like, what? Um, and sure enough, after she hangs up the phone, ghost dogs come scratching at the door, banging on the windows. And they, like, if you look at the window, they have like glowing eyes. And then once you go to daytime, and you talk around with people, you find out that that cabin used to belong to a gangster named Mickey Malone, and Mickey Malone loved his dogs. And people say that his dogs are still haunting his old cabin. Anytime anybody tries to move in there, the ghost dogs scare them away. Now, as I said, there's no actual real supernatural stuff going on. So you find out in the end what's going on. Um, I love the plot a lot. Uh, I love that it talks about Mickey Malone's past. It was in the 1920s during Prohibition, speakeasies and stuff like that. Characters are lacking. Yeah, characters are lacking. Music is awesome. Music is awesome. Puzzles, I believe, are kind of easy as I recall. It's been a while since I played this, but I think the puzzles are kind of easy. I'm gonna put this up at great. I'm gonna put that up at great. Thornton Hall. I love Thornton Hall. This is the most tragic story. Um, it is about a wealthy family who used to own a plantation on an island back in the day. The workers, however, were locked inside at night, and one night there was a fire, and a lot of people died. And later on, there was another fire, and a family member passed away. And ever since that family member passed away, supposedly her ghost haunts Island. Um, Now, you were called out here originally because a girl in the family is about to get married, and she thought going on a ghost hunt in a supposedly haunted place would be a really fun bachelorette's party. That does sound like a really fun bachelorette's party. A ghost hunt? Yeah. But then the fiance, she goes missing. And so you'll have to find the fiance, and along the way, you uncover some truths about the Charlotte Thornton, the girl who had passed away in the fire, the family member. And the dysfunction in this family is insane and heartbreaking. They are just torn apart. It is so tragic. This one, and the puzzles are good too, in my opinion. This one is one of my favorites. Next one, Labyrinth of Flies. Now, this one, I will admit, I haven't played in a long time and I don't remember a lot from it. So this one's going to be harder for me to rank. Take this ranking of this game with a grain of salt. What I do remember though is that there is a troupe who's putting on a play about Greek mythology, and then, like, right by the play arena or the play area or whatever, they have a small museum um, about just Greece and stuff, ancient Greece. But there are some artifacts missing. So, not unlike Scarlet Hand. Um, and so Nancy Drew is called out there to see what's going on. Um, I do remember there being a lot of puzzles, like very puzzle heavy and pretty challenging as I recall. The characters I don't recall much about. Um, we do need to replay this. As I said, this ranking, take with a grain of salt. I'm going to put it in good. I don't remember much, but what I do remember, I think it was good. Okay, Nancy Drew, Ransom of the Seven Ships. This one. This one is no longer available. I have it on Steam because I bought it before they took it off the market, but it's no longer available because they realized there is somebody in this game who is trying to stay in disguise, and at the end, you realize that he had been doing blackface. And Her Interactive realized that that did not age well, so they just took it off the market. I think that's a good call on them. Um, so that's really not cool. Lack of characters, really not cool. The puzzles, though, there were some really challenging puzzles. There were some fun puzzles and challenging puzzles. Oh, I'm sorry, the plot. Let me tell you about the plot. Um, Nancy Drew and her friends won a trip to the Bahamas. Is it the Bahamas? I think it's the Bahamas. So yeah, somewhere. Um, but when she gets there, one of her friends is kidnapped. And then she gets a note, and it's people who have been like, who say, we've been following your mysteries, and we know you're good at solving mysteries, and we know you're good at solving treasure hunts. There is a legend of this treasure around here. You find the treasure for us, we'll give you back your friends. So that is an exciting plot. Um, but yeah, blackface isn't cool. Lack of characters, but the puzzles are good. But it's a problem. It's a problem. Sea of Darkness. This is a very good one. More treasure hunts, man. Treasure hunts throughout this series. Um, anyway, we go to Iceland because there are two treasure hunters working together. There is a very, very old boat that supposedly somebody left clues to their treasure on. Kind of like Jake Hurley in The Last Train. The start of the clues start on the ship. Uh, it could be on the ship. It might not be on the ship, but the clues definitely start on the ship. And the two treasure hunters are trying to track it down. One of the treasure hunters just goes missing. The other treasure hunter is the one who calls Nancy Drew out there and is like, dude, my partner found some kind of clue, doesn't want to tell me, is trying to take the treasure for himself. You need to fucking hunt him down. Like, she's fucking pissed. She thinks that he's just trying to take off with the treasure when they were supposed to be partners, you know? And it's the first absolutely confirmed LGBTQ character in this. Apparently, somebody had like put it in there. Like when you go to snoop through this person's phone, if you decide, whoa, my face. Okay. If you decide to snoop further in this person's phone beyond the initial information that it wants you to find, you can find text messages that do confirm that this person is gay or bi, but they've definitely had a partner of the same sex. And and apparently, what had happened was somebody put that in there, didn't tell anybody, and the more and more the game went through production and was getting higher up there, uh, that's when somebody noticed it, but it was like way too late to take it out, so they just left it in there. So somebody just slipped it in there, and and I think that's great. I think that's great. There's other characters throughout the game that are suspected to be LGBTQ, but I think it's great. And it's got a lot of great puzzles, and the atmosphere is absolutely beautiful. And the characters, oh my God, there is some really heartbreaking characters with really sad backstories. Oh, it's very, very good. Yeah, this one is going under my favorites. Okay, next one. Shadow at Water's Edge. Oh, this is a good one too. Another heart wrenching one as well. One of the more scarier ones. Thornhall and Shadow at Water's Edge might be the two most jump scares, in my opinion. Um, this one, Nancy Drew goes to Japan and is staying in a haunted ryokan, which is like a traditional Japanese hotel. And it is a grandmother, two daughters, and one of the daughters' boyfriends. The mother had passed away, and none of them like to talk about her death at all. And it's something that weighs very, very heavily on all of their minds still, even though it's been a long time. Um, and the place is just haunted and driving away guests, and you have to figure out what's actually going on, you know? And this one has a good amount of puzzles too. Uh, I'm putting it up there. Yeah. Yeah. Next one, stay tuned for Danger. This is a fun one. It is about a soap opera star who is getting death threats. He is not taking it seriously. He thinks it's just like a crazy fan, blah, blah, blah. But, in real life, they're having crazy fans who killed people, he gets sent poisoned chocolates, and then there's like a light fixture that almost falls on his head. So yeah, you're called out there, and it's mainly other people who are more concerned for his safety than he is. But you're called out there to figure out what's going on. That one, it is really fun. I will say not a lot of the characters are great. I think Rick Garland, the guy who's getting the death threats, he's more memorable because he's just like super into himself and makes like stupid, obnoxious comments, and it's funny. The puzzles I think are kind of easy. You do have to be careful though, because this is the second game they ever made. And there are a couple things that if you don't do it the first time, then it's really hard to get back to get what you need. I'm gonna say that this one's okay. Nancy Drew, Cats of Curse. Okay, Nancy Drew is called out to Germany because there's a castle that acts as a hotel place. Um, that there is a legend about a monster that comes every few years and kidnaps a girl, and usually it's just a legend. Usually, if something bad happens around the area, they blame this monster, but this time is different. Everybody feels like it's different. And then there are actual sightings of the monster, and people are scared to go stay there because of this monster. The characters are really good. The cutscenes are really good. Um, the puzzles, it's been a while since I played this one too. I don't recall the puzzles very much, but I think I'm gonna put this as good. I almost want to put it as great, but I think I need to replay it before I can feel more comfortable putting it there. I think I need to replay it, but overall, it is a really good one. Next one, Nancy Drew, Deadly Device. It has a lot to do about Nikola Tesla. There is a laboratory where a man, a scientist, genius scientist, is killed by one of his Tesla coils. And they have footage of a person who works in the lab going into the Tesla coil room, and messing with wires and stuff right before the other guy comes in and is electrocuted and killed. And they are saying that this other person killed him, and you need to go in there and prove that, or disprove it. Just go in there and see what actually happens. This one has really good characters, in my opinion. A couple of the characters are just okay. But then some of the other characters are really good. Really, really good. I love Gray a lot. I think he's my favorite in this game. Victor's good. Ryan's really good. Yeah. And I remember the puzzles being really challenging as well. I I don't know whether to put this as great or favorites now that I think about it. I think I'm just gonna put it as great for me personally because the subject matter being about like electricity and science. I am not the biggest science person in the world, and I think that's the only reason it's not my favorite. So if you're a science person, like that game's for you. Next one, Final Scene. Final Scene is fun. It's one of the older games. So it is very easy. A lot of these games tend to get more challenging the later on in the series it is. Um, yes, it is about somebody kidnaps Nancy's friends and says that they are keeping her in a historical theater that's about to be knocked down. And so they kidnap Nancy's friends and they keep her in the historical theater as motivation for Nancy to stop the demolition because the demolition of this historical building just means so much to the culprit. And it means a lot to the town as well. There's protesters saying like it needs to be like an official historical landmark, can't tear it down. Like there's a lot of people who want to save this theater. But this person is going through like to the extreme, legal extreme. And also, this is the creepiest culprit reveal, in my opinion, than any other culprits in this series. It is so creepy. It gives me chills every single time. Um, it is the puzzles are not hard at all, but it's a really good story, good culprit, and it's just a fun time. And you learn a lot about Harry Houdini along the way. We're going to put this one as great. Should it be just good? Because it's so easy. Mm. I'm gonna put it as good just because it's so easy, so easy. But that's fine. That's fine. Haunted Carousel. Haunted Carousel is about an amusement park where one of the carousel horses has been stolen. And, they say that if a carousel horse, if it's made by the same carousel maker, if it's separated from the rest of their pack or whatever, then it's bad luck. And after that carousel horse has been stolen, the roller coaster ride stops mid ride, hurting one of the riders who is now suing them, and they have to shut the park down until everything gets cleared up. And now the carousel keeps like stopping and starting on its own, and they think the place is just haunted. So yeah, that's a really good plot. It is another easy one. It's one of the earlier ones. I'm going to say it's good. Now, Castle Malloy. Castle Malloy is one of the weirdest endings in the world. The culprit reveal is insane. It's so weird, but it's so weird. But anyway, Nancy Drew goes to Ireland to be the maid of honor for an old friend. But when she gets to Ireland, the fiance is missing. The bride is still there, but the groom is missing. And also there's like a banshee that's flying around screaming all over the place. It's insane, but it is chock full of so many puzzles. All the puzzles are fun. I think it's funny. You get to shear sheep, and you can sometimes give them mohawks, which I think is funny. But I'm going to say that this is a great game. I would say it's also nonsense. It's a bit outlandish. But you just got to roll with it. I mean, they give reasons for everything. It's just that the reasoning is such a far fetched thing, you know? But just got to roll with it. It's fun. It's fun. Next one, Secret of Shadow Ranch. Oh, this is a fun one too. This one used to be lower on my list because I did not like the chores. There are some chores. You can watch one of my videos where I like almost rage quit because of picking veggies. Awesome. But it's a really good one. You go out to a ranch, and there has been a phantom horse who's been galloping by lately at nighttime. And every time the horse comes by, something really bad happens. It's very bad luck. So you need to figure out what's going on with that. It is intertwined with a past Western romance story too about a man in love with the sheriff's daughter, but they can't be together. And so he hid treasure for her and like gives her the starting clues to finding his treasure. So it's another treasure hunting one as well as trying to figure out what's going on with his phantom horse. Um, and then you get to explore a ghost town. It's a lot of fun, and the characters are really good. There's one character that I think sucks, and another character that I think is overrated, but okay. But then the other two characters I think are awesome. And I like the way that you defeat the culprit in the end as well. I think that's really fun. This one I'm gonna put as greats. Yeah. Just because the puzzles aren't that hard. There are a couple of puzzles that are hard, but I think the majority of the puzzles are pretty easy. Next one, Silent Spy. This is a weird one because Nancy Drew's mother died when she was 10 in a car wreck. That's always been the story. Then all of a sudden in this one, um, there is a terrorist group from Glasgow that lures Nancy to Scotland to find out more about her mother's death because it actually wasn't a car accident. And then you find out her mother was a spy and she was killed by this terrorist group. And now the terrorist group is like trying to start up again, but they lured Nancy over to target her. It's really weird and convoluted. It's really weird. The puzzles, this one I haven't played in a while, so I guess I do need to play it again soon. The puzzles I remember being good, I think. Um, Culprit reveal, absolute trash. Motive, fucking trash. Awful. But it really tugs at your heartstrings. This is the only Nancy Drew game where like I got pretty teary-eyed actually because it talks about like there's flashbacks to her having memories of her mother. Um, and then at the end credits, you hear her and her father talking about like, why don't we ever talk about mom, and it gets like really emotional. So I'll say that is cool. I'm gonna put this as good, I guess. I need to play it again, but as of right now, I think I'm gonna say that it's good. Yeah. Now, Fables of Icicle Creek. I think this is a really good one. It's a fun one. This is one with chores in it, but I don't mind the chores. Um, Nancy Drew goes to Canada because there is a wolf that's bothering them. They think it's like a haunted wolf or whatever. Um, and every time you hear the wolf or see the wolf, something bad happens, kind of like the Phantom Horse. Um, and so Nancy goes out there to investigate, and it's. Oh, I guess I haven't played this one in a while either. I don't even remember who the culprit is. Huh. I guess that's going to be on my list. But I know that I like the atmosphere. I like puzzles. Um, oh, Fox and Geese. I really like Fox and Geese. Oh, I do remember the ending and I remember it was kind of weird. I'm just going to put this at good. By the way, I know I'm backtracking, but I think I forgot to say Last Train of Blue Moon Canyon characters, awesome. Tino Balducci, awesome. Laurie Gerard, cool. Yeah, good character. I just had to mention Tino Balducci. He's a really cool, fun cop dude. Um, Nancy Drew, Tomb of the Lost Queen. So she goes to Egypt just to help with a dig site, like as an assistant or whatever. And they don't know whose tomb it is, but they suspect that it's a queen's tomb. And then they get a sandstorm, and in the middle of the sandstorm, somebody knocks a guy over his head and he has to go to the hospital. So not only are you trying to figure out whose tomb it is, but you need to figure out who is hurting. Why would somebody want to hurt the dude who's in charge of the dig site? This one, I like how many codes there are. I like decoding all those codes. The other puzzles are okay. No, I'm gonna put this under good. And this one, I almost want to put that at great. I'll just leave it there for now. Another dossier game I've never played. Nancy Drew Midnight in Salem. This was a huge disappointment. This was their first game with a new CEO, new gaming engine. A lot of the team changed. Took 4 years to make, whereas all these other games they're doing two a year, and then all of a sudden a 4 year break and for this trash to come out. Um, it's about you learn a lot about the Salem witch trials. Um, so the main mystery though is somebody has burned down a historical site. And, what do they have to gain from burning down someone's house? Uh, there is a book that is stolen, the Book of Apologies, that has to do with the Salem witch trials. And those two things are connected. Um, Characters, no, not well thought out, I don't think, in my opinion. A little bit for some, others not at all. Um, Puzzles, almost non existent. And it was also way too linear. The other games, like you kind of get to choose what path you're doing and what you want to do next. And yeah, some things need to happen before certain events are triggered, but overall, you feel like you're free to do whatever. In Midnight Salem, it literally gives you one task at a time, and you don't get another task till you finish that. It's way too linear, way too much talking. It the ending, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. That was game 33 though. Um 34 just came out. I hear it's a lot better. Her Interactive did take in people's complaints about Midnight, and I hear it's a lot better. I can't wait to play it myself. So anyway, let me just look over this really fast. I'm gonna put this up there. And yeah, this looks about right to me. I feel very, very comfortable with this. So, if you ever want to check out a Nancy Drew game, refer to this. Play some of these ones up here. These are great. These are all really good too. These are the only ones that I would not play, honestly. I mean, you can just to say you've played the whole series, but you know, but check them out. And I had fun ranking these. I mean, I always have fun talking about Nancy Drew. So thank you very much. I'll see you next time. Bye.